The ultimate tournament of everything.
Welcome to this ultimate tournament of everything scouting report. We've been on break, but don't worry, there's still things to learn about.
That's right, been on break, but not broken. Happy to be here in the year 2023. Had to think about it for a second because the years just keep flying by. Usually in our full length episodes, we look at not 2023 things, but 18 broken up into 9 rounds of 2x2 competition. But here in these scouting reports, we just take a sweet little glimpse into one element of the infinite. So, Rob, why don't you tell us which randomly generated entity we will be investigating in this first scouting report of the new year?
Our randomly generated competitor for 2023 is something that happened many years ago, the manufacturing of the International Space Station.
Many years ago in a galaxy right here, we have the manufacturing of the ISS, colloquially known as the International Space Station. This was a project to create the International Space Station required the utilization and or construction of new and existing manufacturing facilities around the world, though mostly in the US and Europe. And the agencies overseeing the manufacturing involved NASA, Roscosmos, the European Space Station, JAXA, and the Canadian Space Agency.
Hey, look at that. Hundreds of contractors working for the 5 space agencies were assigned the task of fabricating the modules, trusses, experiments, and other hardware elements for this station. The fact that the project involved the cooperation of 16 countries working together created engineering as well as political challenges, most notably the difference in language, culture, and politics. I got to imagine that that might not be as difficult as the engineering processes, management, measuring standards, and communication needed to ensure that all those elements connected together into a functioning and safe space station.
That's right. They had to choose between the centimeter and the inch at some point. I'm pretty sure they forgot to do some at others. That story might be included here or elsewhere, and or may not have actually happened. But I know that you can still look up and see this beautiful space station on nights that are not cloudy and that it's going above you. It looks like a moving star or a satellite because it is a satellite. Now, this project began as Space Station Freedom, a US only effort, but was long delayed by funding and technical problems. Following the initial 1980s authorization with an intended 10-year construction period by Ronnie Reagan, the Station Freedom concept was designed and renamed in the 1990s to reduce costs and expand international involvement. So, interestingly, here they're not paying for the name by the letter unless going from Freedom to ISS was how they saved their costs.
That's probably what it was. In 1993, the United States and Russia agreed to merge their separate space station plans into a single facility, integrating their respective modules and incorporating contributions from the European Space Agency and also Japan. In later months, an international agreement board recruited several more space agencies and companies to collaborate on the project. The International Organization for Standardization played a crucial role in unifying and overcoming different engineering methods, such as measurements and units, as
Hmm.
aforementioned, languages, standards, and techniques to ensure quality, engineering communication, and logistical management across all manufacturing activities of the station components.
Now, if you think this sounds fancy and you'd like to build one of your own, you're in luck because here we have technical blueprints to a number of the components that were used to create this station. We've got technical blueprints of the truss design, other truss design. Look, more truss designs. We are radiator panels, all sorts of things. Looks like if you're smart enough and got all of the materials, you could probably put it together in about 2023 years. So basically, this was a whole bunch of factories, manufacturing processes, and all sorts of things used to create different components, which were then shot up into space and put together like a Lego block.
Now, what were those components made out of? Well, lots of things: Kevlar, ceramic fabric, aluminum, titanium, stainless steel, forged aluminum, silica and borosilicate, bulletproof glass to keep away from those rougher alien neighborhoods, aluminum alloy, and even some very special spectrometer materials and instruments.
Yeah, looks like It was all gradually built and put together by any number of very smart and capable individuals. It's really a marvel that we were able to get, as humans, this thing floating up in the air, which we've utilized for a number of years for so many things. Looking at the though of the pre-launch processing and the last stages of manufacturing, with the exception of all but one Russian-built module, Rasvet, all ISS components end up here at either one or both of the buildings in the Kennedy Space Center.
Which, of course, we know is the only place you can actually reach space. You heard it, China. I don't think you actually made it. What are you going to do about it? Prove me wrong by being on the moon? They might. They're getting pretty close.
I hear the back of the moon has some interesting things. We never see that part.
Nope. Never see it.
Nope.
The Earth, if you've listened to a different episode, the Earth and the Moon are actually rotationally locked, meaning that one side of the moon always faces the Earth as it goes around because it happens to rotate at the same speed at which it revolves.
Yes, very interesting. It's also getting slightly further away from us each year, but also still not as interesting as what's on the back side, the dark side of the moon, if you will. Now, looking forward, it looks like, in short, because this is a scouting report. It took a lot of people, almost, one would think, a near infinite amount of people to put this together. But it also takes an exactly infinite amount of entities to put together this, the ultimate tournament of everything, where we are sussing it out to find out which thing will be the thing of all things. And I think that this thing has a pretty good chance. The ISS, appreciate you. You're up there in space just spinning. Just I think it's like 90 minutes around the planet.
That sounds about
Every
right.
every 90 minutes. That's awesome. So be sure while you're looking at this, if it's not the daylight time or cloudy, look up and you might see a thing slowly but relatively quickly going across the sky. More than likely, it's not aliens, but it might be some humans that you can wave to. And speaking of waving to humans, that's what Rob and I are doing sonically right now to all of you, our beloved listeners. Please join us tomorrow for another edition of
The ultimate tournament of everything.